Teacher boy.
So Galatians 3:27 tells us, for as many of you as have been baptized into Christ have put on Christ. Hold on now. If we been baptized in Christ, then we put on Christ. So when you look at me and I'm in Christ, you don't see male or female. You don't see Terry as male. You see Christ. Say, keep on going, Pastor Terry. 28 says, there is neither Jew nor Greek. Not in Christ. It might be in the church.
You better teach.
But not in Christ.
Teach.
He goes on to say that not only is there neither Jew nor Greek, there is neither bond nor free. In Christ.
In Christ.
Then he goes on to say,
Jesus.
neither male nor female. I'm reading it right. For ye are all one.
One.
We can take a right turn right here if y'all want to. He said, ye are one in Christ. Now watch this. Watch this. So that means that they were one in Adam. If they were one in Adam, then that means we are one in Christ. And the only way that you can see me as male or female is if I'm out of Christ or you are. So one of us ain't in Christ. If you judging me based on male or female, one of us ain't in Christ. You judging me on black or white. If you judging me on whether I'm broke or I got something. Somebody ain't in Christ. I wish I could have made that, but I ain't that smart. God said. I think I'm preaching better than y'all shout. Look at the person next to you and say, we are one.
We are one.
We are one. We are one. We can really go on now, y'all.
I know that's right.
That's where I'm ready to go. Come on. We are together tonight.
All right.
For the benefit of the kingdom.
All right.
For the greater good. For something that is greater than any of our single contribution is alone.
Come on. All right.
That's why we are the body.
Yes, Lord.
That's why we are one in Christ. Because that's the work that God has called us to do. The enemy never put stipulations on who can be on his team.
You see about it.
You use anybody.
You see about it.
You use your body.
Yes.
He don't care. He'll be black, white, Puerto Rican, Asian, male, female, broke, rich. He doesn't care. He'll use mine. But why is it that when it comes to God's people, we begin to put stipulations on who can and who can't? So we are distracted fighting each other while the enemy is tearing down God's people. Now I'll tell you what the greatest enemy is in just a second here. Keep walking. See, we haven't understood what this thing is that we got here. And see, anytime you don't understand what you have, you better be careful because you might lose it.
Amen.
See, God started this thing called the church a long time ago. He started with Moses. He was the pastor. Moses was the first pastor, y'all know. So the scriptures tell us that it was the church in the wilderness. So if Moses had a church built in the day, then the sign on it would say church in the wilderness. It wouldn't have CME. It wouldn't be followed by a title. It was just church in the wilderness. But the church started there. Now the church, when it started there, it kept rolling because God had a destination for it. So while it was in the wilderness, they had a tent. of them all. But then it didn't stop right there. So the church made it on into the century of the Roman kingdom. And then when it came into the Roman kingdom, because people were more pledged more of their allegiance to the government, they began to allow it to filter into God's church. Now here's how the church has been moving, it's been advancing, God had a plan for it. So it gets here to modern day Rome, and then the scribes and the Pharisees showed up. The scribes were the writers of the law, and the Pharisees were the keepers of the law. So now you got a whole bunch of laws without grace. And now because the law has elevated itself above grace, they're more concerned about the do's and the don'ts.
Come on.
Than the grace and the mercy of God.
Yes.
So this is what Jesus, when he finally came on the scene, he said it's time for a shift and a change in management. It's time for a shift and a change in management. And so now that the church has made to this place where the scribes, and scribe, it means to inscribe, to write. So they were the writers of the law. So that means that the man with the pen has power. Because he can write into law and by laws, whatever he wants. To dictate them to fit him and benefit him more than the people. And so here God's church is something that he never intended it to be. With folk in charge who are running it all wrong than what he wanted it to. So I'm going to send my only son down to change the management. So when he comes, he begins to talk to him. I wonder why did Jesus always have a problem with the church leaders? He would sit down and eat and be friends sinners. But he called the church leaders. He said, you ain't nothing but whitewashed tombs.
Jesus.
Who are full of dead men. Careful, boy. He would tell things like, y'all for pretense make long prayers.
Come on.
So that you would be heard by people and sound eloquent. Sound like you got it all together. But saying that you would take one proselyte, you would convert him and make him twice the child of hell he was before. Because you studied with do's and don'ts. You studied with laws and you left out the weightier part of the law with your grace, mercy, and truth.
Thank you, Jesus. Yes.
I told you I ain't smart enough to make this up. It's in your Bible. It's in your Bible. It's in your Bible. And Jesus had a problem with him because he was upset because they had turned his house into a den of thieves. And it was supposed to be a house of prayer for all nations. So the whole church and all of its power is bound up to a religious ritual inside of the building.
Yes.
All the power comes together and none of it is released.
Yes.
So Jesus said there's a shift in management. And he said, come here, Peter. Come here, Luke. He said, come here, John. He said, come here, Matthew. And he called him 12. And here the scribes and the Pharisees are still in the building having church and don't know that God is an army rising up. Don't even know it. There's an army rising up. So he called unto himself 12. And he taught them. And he trained them. And he discipled them. He showed them the way, gave them the word. And the New Testament church was being formed. While they still stuck in the old way, where God used to be. They didn't even recognize that God was up to something. So Jesus assembled his team. He appointed them. He anointed them. And he sent them. Now restructuring of the church, the reforming of the true church taking place. And he said, I ain't going to be in the building all the time. I'm going to spend 90% or more of my time in the field. Y'all going to have church. And then when he did come into the building, they wound off with it. When he did come into the building, they bring in prostitutes and throwing at his feet, trying to catch him in the law. But they didn't know that these vain babblings and disputes only lead to unrighteousness. So while they were trying to accuse him, he just kneeled down and he started writing on the ground. And I wish I could just see what he wrote. But then I thought about it. You know how kids used to play that game where they would draw a line in the sand and they say, I dare you